Ultimate best of 3 of the day here as we go into GuMiho and Jieshi best of 3 PvT. To the bottom left hand side of the map, our blue Terran player will be GuMiho. And he did lose to his opponent in this game the other day in the best of 3 series. Let's see what he can do about it. Obviously that was pre-patch. Let's see what happens now. As the top right hand side is Jieshi, our purple Protoss player. Jieshi actually picked up a $50 OSC bounty for killing off GuMiho, so despite not moving through the group, it did work out quite nicely for him. As we set up into this, and again, just looking to see how this is going to go. I'm going to see how this turns out. And yeah, just waiting to see how this PvPs will play. PvT is a matchup which I think out of all the matchups seems to be very similar post-patch compared to pre-patch. We're seeing maybe a bit more tank-based play in the matchup, but I think a lot of players still just sort of playing the same old thing. I guess as well, sort of the difference in I feel as though we're just seeing a lot of the same old stuff. A lot of people are talking about kind of having to go Stargate to kind of deal with certain builds and stuff, but I guess we'll sort of, again, keep on seeing. I mean, I've only seen so many games so far, you know, like I really haven't seen that much, so we'll keep an eye out and see what else is happening. Going to see a factory coming down towards the third base here, so actually GuMiho is going to be proxying and going for a little bit of aggression from the get-go here in game number 1. Now, Jieshi is getting pushed away by a Marine already, so that Marine comes out, just pushes the probe away and just tries to deny some vision. Obviously, the less vision for Jieshi, the better for GuMiho, and the less chance of this probe building a pylon nearby and being annoying, especially if he's building this factory across the map. It's not like he's going to have many units to deny, like a pylon, mothership core, overcharge rush. So being able to try and slow this down or stop it at all is pretty sweet. Now we do see there is a probe here which is just running around and is checking for proxies. He is going to come up in this direction too, so he is going to find what is a cyclone coming out of this factory right now. And the SCV is still stood here as well, so SCV just stood behind this factory, ready to kind of maybe go build a starport or something. Starport is not going to come down, so second rack's back at home as GuMiho will expand. Mothership core comes forward here as the Cyclone pops out. Here we go, going to take down this Adept. Oh my god, Cyclones against Adepts is crazy. That's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, he's going to run on by, and well, a couple Marines coming into play as well. I guess he's just going to go towards this mineral line. He's going to pick off a probe here, a couple of probes. Adept taking a lot of damage. In fact, Adept goes down. He'll turn and now fight against this Stalker. So this Stalker's going to go down too. Yishi's taking a lot of damage. Man, Cyclones do so much against Protoss units in the early game. Overcharge comes down over here as he continues to try and fight. Stalker goes down, and well, now we've got 2 Marines in the natural mineral line. We've got a Cyclone in the main. He's actually fighting here with this Cyclone against this pylon. If he kites, oh, it's really awkward for unit to kind of kite with, right? Kills off the pylon and powers the gateway. And I think overall, this has been pretty decent. I think he's getting pretty decent damage done as we see. Oh, Widowmine gets taken down. That's a little bit messy. Second and third racks up at home though. I really like this build from GuMiho. Cute little build to try and get damage done super early on. And you'll see these 2 Marines picking off another probe as well. So that's going to be 2 workers taken down here. And GuMiho sets up into a nice little position right away. 2 probes trying to pull away as well as the Stalker and Mothership core will come in and we'll take down this Marine. A few more probes going to come down to the low ground here. And it's going to be seeing Stimpack starting up from GuMiho as well. So Stimpack starting to come on up as did send an SCV out on the map, and he will repair the factory. Keeps that alive. Very important because obviously if he doesn't have to rebuild that, it just saves him some gas and so on. So that's really nice for him if he can get away with not having to lose that. SCV continue to repair this factory up as we see the Observer continue to move down towards the bottom left hand side. A second Observer coming out of the main base as well. And an Immortal coming out of the Robo facility. No Twilight Council just yet. I mean, the Robo is the way you have to respond when you have a proxy like that, because you need to try and get an Immortal up early. You need the Observer in case of proxy Widow Mines. So no surprise to see the Twilight Council coming in just a little bit later on here in this game. Simulator will finish up in just a few moments' time. You're going to be seeing the Sentry finishing warping in. And you just see this SCV. Actually going to move very well. Look at this. The factory's actually going back over this side of the map. I wonder what he's going to do with the factory. Whether he just watches the rocks, or whether he's actually going to try and build another Widow Mine or 2 and try and run it in towards a mineral line and get damage done. Stimpack, combat shields, and +1 all in the way. And as the starport finishes, it builds a reactor. And so we're probably looking towards a +1/2 medevac attack in the very near future here. It's going to be setting up into that. We do have this group of Marines moving forwards from GuMiho. So he's going to be moving forwards and looking to see what he can do as we have the... let's see if he's just sat on the watchtower. He's going to go down. He's about to have stim, so if he does see an opportunity to fight, he could just stim in. It wouldn't be necessarily ideal, but it's definitely a possibility that's there. Obviously, he doesn't have medivacs yet. He doesn't have +1. So he's definitely got stuff to wait for, but if the opportunity arises, well, maybe he just goes for it. The factual gives him a little bit of vision to decide if he wants to do this. He does stim. He's going to go for it right now. As the mothership core, you can see that GuMiho's a little bit cautious about going too close to these pylons. He's going to stim in now. He goes for the sentries. He's going to go for this. He goes for the pylons too. There's a little bit of kind of everything everywhere. Doesn't know what the best thing is to target. Double overcharge, so both the pylons become a threat. He takes down one of them. He has to just back away from the other and try and pick up the pylon as he backs away here to the left-hand side towards the third base. He's going to keep on trying for that pylon. Now he turns and fights these adepts again. Maybe gets one more adept. No. Good micro from Jieshi to defend this. I feel as though in the end he didn't get enough done with this. He killed like a couple of zealots, a pylon, and a sentry. I feel as though he could have got so much more. Even if he just targeted down all the sentries, that could have been huge. And we do see these 2 sentries and the stalker just working their way through this factory. 3 more stalkers warping in the main base as well. Bunker will come up at the front from GuMiho, so just setting up over here. Bunker to create a little bit of a safety factor, considering he did just lose a lot of units. The last thing he wants is a big counterattack to come across, and just to end the game while he's a little bit weaker than usual, so just has to be a little bit careful of that as we're going to be seeing a Marine drops down onto the left-hand side watchtower. 2 medevacs continuing up this left-hand side, and going to start unloading over here. Marines and Marauders will get ready to stim in towards the third base, so these units going to get ready to go in a moment or two. And what else is going on? We have a warp prism down to the left-hand side. We're going to try and do something as he actually lifts back up into the warp prism. These adepts are going to try and get away as Marines and Marauders picking off a pylon, but not too much more. Again, the Protoss army is pretty scary at this point, so Protoss army will stand pretty strong for now. As you see, Guardian Shield just going to fade away. A few adepts to the left-hand side from the warp prism will be shading forwards to try and get some further damage done. We'll actually head towards the third base. There's actually a big transfer of SUVs going over there, but Marines seem to be escorting them to some extent, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue as SUVs will actually end up being pulled in. Liberator's coming in as well. All these Marines low health, so actually the SUVs may be necessary. 4 workers killed, that will be it as the last adept goes down. And we're going to see Colossus on the way from Jieshi as well. Going to be a big upgrade differential very soon as the Terran player hits the +1 armor. There's going to be no armor upgrades from Jieshi. Jieshi will have an armor upgrade in the next minute or so, but it's not going to be there for a while, so next trade or so might be a little bit troubling if it does happen in the very near future. I'm just going to be seeing these Marines and Marauders collecting together still, and I'm going to keep on moving in. You see a Phoenix getting picked off. This Phoenix getting picked off pretty quickly as there's that adept getting taken down as well. Scan onto this high ground as Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries. We're just sitting up here. Big stim forwards. Liberator is going to be sieging up here as well. And she still just sits. Just out of range of these Liberators. Is he going to fight on in? He's going to try to. He's going to move forwards here. He's going to commit to it. Well, I'm not too sure about this because that's a lot of Liberators he's fighting against. 4 of them in total. 2 still left over, and now there's no anti-air either. This army just disappears, and Jieshi makes a major mistake. Earlier today, he was actually doing a very good job of being very cautious about fighting into the Liberator range, into liberation zones and so on, but that was against Alive. Now against GuMiho, he makes a big mistake, really overcommits forwards, and he's just going to lose out on so many of his units right now. So that's a big mistake by Jieshi, and it is GuMiho to really take an advantage from this point. Marines will be moving forwards, or still sat around here. We see Stalkers trying to fight again, and I mean, they get rid of a Liberator at the cost of 2 more Stalkers. The thing is, I mean, more units keep coming across the map. Is the 2 more Liberators here? They're probably... Oh, there isn't. It's actually more Medevacs in production. Some Ghosts on the way now from GuMiho. As he comes in here, he'll shut down the Mothership Core as well, shoots that out of the sky. And, well, he turns to trade. Trades will be even going into this fight, but, I mean, Adepts go down. This Immortal go down pretty fast as well. And you can just see at this point that Jieshi just cannot seem to get enough units in position to hold on. There's actually a bunch of bio over here as well, which isn't being used just yet. As GuMiho brings this into the fight as well, he'll turn, and these Adepts will just disappear. There's just not enough units anymore, and GuMiho will take game number 1. Jieshi does not have enough. GG. GuMiho takes game 1 of this best of 3 set. And we return. So I found something out today. If I put my microphone up into the like by the side of my head position, like I just did there, it actually mutes the microphone. How sick is that? That's like the sickest thing ever. It was a bit of a bitch when I didn't know that though, and I thought my microphone wasn't working. I was trying to do a sound test. I was just like tapping the microphone to make sure the microphone was on it all. I was like, no, it's not working. Whatever's going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? It's plugged in. This isn't the right place. And especially when I'm like using an audio mixer the first time, I've got no idea whether this is working or not. I just had no idea. So I went home, I ate some food, I came back, and it just worked. I was like, wow, that's so random. Then this morning I come in and it's like, it's not working. I'm like, oh my god, why? I change some cables, I tap it, I turn it off and on, I try everything. Turns out it just auto mutes itself if it's in the kind of up position instead of the talking position. So today I learned a very easy way, which would have saved me a lot of trouble and time the past couple of days, to realize why the microphone isn't working, because it's muted. Crazy. The bottom right hand side, our blue Terran player, up one game. Second to last best of 3 of the day. It'll be our last Terran-based matchup though. We've had Terrans in every game so far. Our last matchup of the day will be a ZVP, so no Terran in that. As we have to the bottom right-hand side, GuMiho looking to take the 2-0 here. Clean, simple, and looking to advance in first place of this group without any real issues apart from one map loss to Lucira. Jieshi to the top left-hand side spawns in as the Protoss player representing Riot Esports, I believe. A lot of these Chinese players are on different teams. The problem is, it's not even the fact that they're on different teams, it's the fact that there's been one team which has changed its name about, I'd like to say like 3 or 4 times since I've been casting some of these events, like, and it becomes really weird trying to figure out, like, you know, which team that is still. Like, are they still around? Is it a different team? Is it the same team with a name change? It can become a little bit of a nuisance, obviously, so that's something which has been a frustration for me in recent times, but getting better. Alright guys, so Mothership Core pops out. We do have a Reaper coming across here, that's what we should probably follow. Sorry, I went to change the window so I didn't observe for a moment too. The window has been a little bit it's pretty wide open to try and cool down the room because it's pretty hot in here. But I opened it up and to try and cool down the room, and now it's just getting a little bit chilly, so I changed it to be open a different way. It's crazy. My window opens in 2 ways. It opens like horizontally and vertically, if that makes sense. Like it opens like along the top edge or along the right hand side edge. Crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. Cannot believe it. What a clever window. To be fair, it's not that clever. Even the IBIS budget in Krefeld has windows that do that. And if the IBIS budget has it, then pretty much everywhere in the world should have it. If you haven't been to an IBIS budget, especially in Krefeld, then you're missing out on a life experience because you probably haven't been to Home Story Cup. Or maybe you did go to Home Story Cup, but you had enough money to get a proper hotel. It's always a possibility. Look how little damage a Cyclone does when it's stepping, just because it only gets 1 shot off at a time. And like 1 shot isn't actually doing that much damage, right? It's like super low damage. It's super fast. 3 damage, but 0.1 weapon speed. That's absolutely disgusting. Like truly, that is actually disgusting. That's like 30 damage in like a second. Wow. Cyclones make me mad. How disgusting can one single unit be? That's crazy. Alright, anyways, Cyclone going to pull back home. I wouldn't mind Burrows on the 3rd base as well. GuMiho just going to be looking to delay that there as he sets that up. And well, across to this side, I mean, we see the third CC about to finish up as well. So super fast 3rd CC in location is going to go unpunished. And GuMiho is on a 2nd factory. Are we going to see some mech play? There's a tank on the way. I mean, with a 2nd factory up, you have to expect that we probably are. So, mech play in the TvP. I actually haven't seen mech in TvP yet, so very interested to see how this is going to go. 3rd factory starts up as well, so we really are truly getting into this. GuMiho has got the game. And what does Jieshi do about this? I mean, you look at his unit tab, 4 Stalkers. I mean, Blink is on the way and Immortal's on the way. What's he actually seen? I guess not a lot, otherwise he probably would be responding. Has not seen the third base just yet. He actually has a probe here, but hasn't seen it. So he has a probe, he has an observer here. Surely he has to realize that this third base is probably down with what he can see, like units coming in towards the center. You know, with the fact that, yeah, I mean, he must have seen an SCV-02 going over there as well, perhaps. At least the builder. Maybe he wasn't paying attention, though. Right, wait, observer going to move a little bit more now. Going to be checking around, sees the third base. This is the first time he really sees it. This probe was obviously stuck in towards the third base. Is it going to go down? Maybe this would have mind. Nope, Hellions will get the kill anyways. Hellions clean up over here as observer will back away as well. Now, 2 forges are on the way, so immediately Jieshi is going to counter greed with greed. Says, you know what, you got 3 bases already? Cool, I'm going to go double forge. What I don't think he realizes just yet is, I mean, he should have seen some of these units, right? Like Hellion, Cyclones, and tanks. He should have seen that with the probe and the observer, so he does have an okayish idea of what's happening. So I do wonder, how will he change up his composition at all to maybe just make things a little bit different here? Blink about 10 seconds away from finishing. And will he use attack on him with this? Well, probably not. I mean, 2 tanks, 3 tanks already going to be set up. Plenty of Cyclones. There's Widow Mines as well. Don't think anything these Blink Storms can really do. I mean, you can sort of trade and blink away. But that's not really kind of trading at all. I mean, he might get a kill, but it's still not really going to be enough to justify doing too much here. So, it's going to be seeing this game going on and waiting to see what happens next. Double armory now on the way for GuMiho, so both players are going to end up going double upgrades despite how things are going. He's going to start breaking the way through these rocks. Obviously for Jieshi, I mean, playing against mech, what does he want to try and do? Well, opening pathways to attack is brilliant, because the more you attack and the more locations you can attack, the better chance you're going to have of being able to do damage and catching the mech player off guard. Generally what GuMiho is going to aim for here is to hit 160 to 200 supply and just attack from there and just really see what you can do. But if you get slowed down a lot, I mean, that's obviously what mech isn't good against. Is, oh man, these stalkers. Good idea, but he loses all but 3 of them. I was right with 3 because he messed up his blink. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Like, all but 3 stalkers going down there to kill what, like 3 tanks? Nowhere near a decent trade. So again, Jieshi is not going to do so well just yet. I mean, yes, the mech army is generally meant to be more efficient, but throwing away units like that is just unnecessary. So it's going to be a tough one for Jieshi. I don't really know where he goes from here, because now GuMiho is going to start pushing forwards after killing so many stalkers. And I feel as though he's going to end up in a pretty good spot. He's going to go straight towards the 4th base. He scans the 3rd. He sees the 4th as well with this one of these Hellions. So he's going to move straight towards this. He's at least going to look to cancel this. We're going to see. I mean, maybe the Immortal's going to be a little bit more of a nuisance here. As the units actually going off to the side. Unlike the rest here, so we're going to be seeing a couple of tanks staying on siege to help with some single target DPS. Now the rest of them sieging a bit further forwards. Base just cancels. He realizes he's not going to keep that alive. This pylon gets shot down as well. Cyclones will lock onto the mothership core, and well, the mothership core will eventually go down. It's the way it is, and he isn't responding at all. Jieshi loses the mothership core, and he could have even recalled out of that for quite some time. So really, his own mistakes once again cost him quite heavily here in game number 2. GuMiho pulls further ahead on supply, shuts down a 4th base while starting his own, and Jieshi cannot seem to get anything to go his way just yet. +2 range on the Cyclone is going to be finishing very soon as Magfield, what is it? Magfield launches starts on up. So Magfield launches starting to come on up right now, and here we go. Hellbats and tanks moving forwards again. There's a lot of Immortals in this. He's just going to stay on siege momentarily, and for now at least. And well, Hellbats doing a lot of tanking. Immortals might want to start targeting down tanks, but at this point he might just be too late because the Immortals are already dead, and the tanks just keep on pushing forwards here. All the Stalkers starting to go down. Some Zealots will charge in. That's where maybe these tanks on their own will not trade so well. Another tank from the backs and Hellions too to really help out against this. Infernal Pre-Ignited might be useful, and he is starting to get that as well. A lot of tanks going down there. GuMiho maybe getting a bit too overeager towards the end. That said, he did kill off a lot, and he can still siege these tanks up. So, sieging the tanks up, we're going to be seeing the Hellbats deal a little bit more damage. And just going to be tanking a little bit here. Pylons at the front going down. The Mothership Core went down to the Cyclones to the right-hand side just previously, remember. So, not like overcharges are going to be immediately available anyways. A few more tanks going to siege here. A couple of Archons and Mortals moving down this ramp. And again, looking to see what else they can do. Pushing forwards. These units are going to try and do quite a bit, but well, they're just going to get shut down so quickly. Good target fire from the tanks to make sure he minimizes the damage shuts down the units which have really kind of caused some issues ASAP, which is the Immortals. And then these tanks are going to be continue to push on forwards in towards the third base. The Cyclone is going to be able to, two Cyclones going to pick up the War Prism. And he's going to see actually another wave of Zealots maybe doing a little bit more. And another Immortal going down there. Only one tank left over, still making a hold is our Protoss player, but still not quite going to have enough. He holds on a little bit longer. I thought he actually might clean up this army, but still a tank left. Still reinforcements on the low ground too, which means that GuMiho has way too much, and that's going to be GG. GuMiho takes it with a 2-0, and he advances